jingle bells.
Hey Triple T Squad, it's time to make some rum cake. Are you ready?
Jingle bells. Jingle bells. Jingle bells. Jingle bells.
Merry Christmas.
Alright guys, so the first ingredients you need for your rum cake are your fruits, your wine, and your rum. So first you will need to put your fruits to soak in your rum and your wine. It's normally recommended to soak your fruits for a long period of time. This is just to get your fruits very soft so they are easy to puree. So our fruits have been soaking, so here we are transferring the fruits from this bowl into our blender to puree. It's also advisable to use a spoon that has the holes in it so you don't get as much as the liquid in the blender. Since the fruits are soaked, they are already soft, so you don't need much liquid to blend it, and whatever is left over, you can always use it to soak more fruits for the next time you're going to be baking cake. So you just put this in your blender and blend for a couple minutes until your fruits is pureed. Alright guys, so after we finish blend, we just pour it into this container and we will set it aside to put in our cake mixture later. Alright guys, so our next step in making this cake is to cream our butter and our sugar together. A great tip is to take your butter out the fridge at the night before to just get it at a nice room temperature so it can be creamed together easily with the sugar. Also, in making this cake, I will put ingredients in the description on how to make a single cake, but we are making a batch of cakes here, so we will be using more ingredients than the normal. So here you see all our butter and all our sugar that we will be using, and our next step is to put this all in our mixer and have it creamed together. We're going to set our mixer on low speed and then we will gradually increase. And this is going to be going until the butter and sugar is at a texture that it would be suitable in making this cake. We also use this cover over the mixer so we can easily slide the butter in, and depends on how soft your butter is, you'd put them in one at a time. So we're just gonna leave this and come and check on it gradually, ensure our sides are clean and ensure it's been creamed together properly. The next step in this process is to start on our eggs. So because we're making so much cake, we're using 2 dozen eggs, and it's advisable that you pick out the eye out of the egg before you put the eggs in your cake. So you'll whisk the eggs together until you're not able to see any of the yolk. Alright, so after whisking our eggs together, we are going to go in with our spices, and please remember these measurements are for more than one cakes. I will include single measurements in the description box. The spices that we will be using to make our cake are some vanilla, some almond essence, some mixed spice, some anise essence, some rose water, and we're using 2 brands of vanilla. So we will be just adding all of these to the mixture of the eggs, and remember, as I said, we are making more than one cake, so the measurement is not for one cake. So after we place in all our spices, we're just gonna mix all of this together to just have everything combined. So we're just gonna set this aside and then check on our mixer over here that's creaming our butter and our sugar together. Let's see how it is doing. So it's still going, and we see where our butter and our sugar is getting even more creamy. This cake is gonna be so good. Our next step in making our cake is to get in our flour. So here you see my flour, and to my flour mixture I am going to add some cinnamon powder, some salt, some nutmeg, and some baking powder. After adding all those dry ingredients, we're just going to mix together everything and have everything combined. Alright, we're nearly at the end. So next we need to get our baking tins ready for the oven. To line our baking tins, we're going to need some wax paper, as well as we're going to grease those baking tins with some butter. Alright, so here I'm getting some help in cutting out the base for my cake. So a good idea is just to use a knife with a serrated edge. Put the baking tin down on the counter, put the parchment paper on top of it or wax paper, and just use the knife to mark the edges. After which you could just cut it out and place it in your baking tin. So after it's marked out, I'm just going to use my scissors to cut it out in the shape of the pan. So here you can see the holes that the knife with the serrated edge made. So I'm just going to use a scissor and go around, shaping out a circle. So after cutting out the paper for the lining of the pan, we're going to grease all our pans with butter. So we're just going to put some butter inside the pan, and we can use a piece of the wax paper or a damp napkin to grease the pan with the butter. After we finish greasing the pan, we just place the wax paper that we have cut out recently into the bottom of the baking tin, and we just line it out accordingly. And this is how it should look after you're finished. So as I said, we are making a lot of cake. So here you can see all our pans being greased with butter and lined with some wax paper. So time to go on to the next step. So since we're making so much cake, we need a big container to mix all of this in, and we'll be mixing it with our hands. So it's gonna take some muscles. So first up, we're going to put our butter that was creaming with the sugar in the mixer into our big container. So this is my butter and my sugar creamed together, and look at that consistency. So the next step is to add our egg mixture that we had set aside with our eggs and our spices. We're going to add this to our big bowl that has in our butter and our sugar creamed together. So we'll pour half of the egg mixture to our bowl with our butter and our sugar cream together, and then we'll add some flour, and we'll just do this gradually until everything has been added to our big bowl. And this takes a lot of work. Like, this is a lot of ingredients to be mixing together, so it gave me muscles. So we're just gonna mix all of this together until everything is of a smooth texture. So I'll be back. Alright, so in order to know if you did a good job with your mixture, your wooden spoon should be able to stand in the mixture without falling. So once your spoon can stand, your mixture is of a good texture. So after you feel your mixture is at where you want it to be, you'll then go in with your browning. I know some persons use browning, some persons use burnt sugar, but yeah, for this video we'll be using brown sugar to get our cake darker. So now we'll go in and add our blended fruits, and it's good to use like a small measuring cup to just ensure you get everything in without making a mess. So as you add gradually, you just ensure you mix everything together so everything gets blended accordingly. And yes, the mixture does get thick since we are making so much. After all our fruits are added, the next step is to add in our burnt sugar, or most persons use browning. So the browning or the burnt sugar is used to give the cake a darker color, because here you can see how it's light. So you'll see the difference after the browning is added. And you add as much browning or burnt sugar as you like. The darker you want the cake to be, the more you add. The lighter you want the cake to be, the less you will add. After you add everything, you just mix everything together. You can always taste your batter to ensure it's at a taste that you will like. And the final step before placing your batter in your baking tin is to add your rum and your wine. And you can go in and add as much as you want. Whatever you like, you add that amount, but don't go and overdo it now because we don't want anybody to get drunk. Alright, so the last step right here is to just add your mixture in your baking tin. And you want to ensure you add enough because cake rises and they do fall as well. So you want to ensure that you have enough batter in your baking tin so when you're finished there is not a big drop in your cake. So here you can see all our baking tins lined out with the batter in it. It may need a little more in some of them, but we'll add more. And then we had preheated our oven, so we're just going to put them in the oven and have them bake for about an hour. We'll continually check it to ensure they are finished. Since it's so many cake and you have some big ones and some small ones, the smaller ones may tend to finish before the big ones. So you have to ensure you keep checking it as, you know what, your cake burn up? No, none of that round here. And here you have the end result, guys, with the cakes out of the oven. Last but not least, we just go in and just sprinkle a little rum and wine over your cake. Don't, as I said, don't go too overboard because we don't want nobody drunk. So that's the last thing we do, and we just leave it on the counter here for some hours to allow it to cool, and then we'll take them out of the pan and prepare them for packaging. Alright guys, so our cake is finally finished and it's time for the big reveal. Are you ready to see how it looks? Let's go! 1, 2, 3! There you have it. This is our cake. So let's just take off our wax paper off the bottom. But look at that. This looks so good and it smells so good. Alright, so we're just gonna do a little bit of garnishing. Let's cut a slice and see how it looks on the inside. We have a little wine here in our glass. So let's have a nice cut. I can smell, oh my god, this smells so good. Like, so good. Alright, look at this, guys. Look at the texture. Alright guys, so now I'm gonna have a taste. Like, oh my god, this is so good. Like, so good. It's very moist, the texture. Oh my, like, I wish you guys could taste a slice. You want a slice? You want a cake? Place your order. So just leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you want to order cake. I don't know how I'll get it to you, but this is so good. Alright guys, so there you have it again. I just put some little cherries on top. Like, look at that and texture. It's like so good, people. Who want a slice? Who beg na get? Who no beg no want? Do y'all need a slice? Like, look how good this is looking. Well, I hope you all enjoy this video. If you're not yet a part of the family, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to come on over and join the Triple T squad, because I don't know, appear niceness going over here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye. Let's just zoom in on that good stuff. Like.
Ding, 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 jingle bells. 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 Ding, 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 ding.
Merry Christmas.